Hey everybody, this is On Screen, Off Screen, the show where we like to talk about what we watch, how it impacts us, and how what we watch is impacted by us through our own personal experiences. Um, this is a very exciting episode for me personally. Um, we are doing this because Conlon and I have officially been started this 1 year ago. Um, and it's been a big deal to me, and I have loved doing it, and making it a year is a big thing. Lauren, happy 6 months or whatever it's been. Uh, I've loved having you on here as well. It's been an absolute pleasure for me. I have absolutely loved it. So, um, really quickly, I would just like to talk about the impact this has had on you guys, because for me personally, it's made me a lot more confident in my own opinions. And that's actually going to come up in our list. I have some shockers, um, but like, yeah, we're gonna start there. What has this meant to you in that aspect?
The
It's
podcast.
Yeah, doing the podcast.
one. It's made me reach out because, spoiler alert, but How I Met Your Mother is still my number one. And I have not watched it. I've watched 2 episodes of How I Met Your Mother in the last year, which before I probably would have watched the entire show again or close to it. And it's made me have to expand and watch a lot of things that do influence me and have me think differently and have me approach things differently, and that's really cool. That's what this is all about, is growth and exploration. And I love the fact that it's caused me to grow and it's caused me to explore. I love talking through my ideas and us arguing back and forth and really analyzing something. That's a cool thing. It's been a cool experience.
Well, I have a unique experience of being a listener first. And like I listened because I wanted to support my friends, and honestly, I would get really excited to listen to the episodes because you guys would get on topics that like I'm like this is like the conversations I want to have with you guys, but I don't know how to get you guys to talk about these things because I always ended up like just talking instead. And so I get really excited to like hear you guys talk about things you want to talk about. And then I've really enjoyed being on the podcast because I'm like, now I get to talk to you guys about stuff that like I want to hear you guys talk about. And I'm not just a commenter on the bottom, and I can ask you guys in real time and remember the actors that you guys can't remember. um, and then also, so like honestly, it's this podcast is like just being able to talk to you guys is honestly the best part for me. And I've noticed how it's like leaked into my life of like I'm no longer, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I'm like no longer just absorbing trash to pass the time because I watched a lot of trash, just like anything that I could get my hands on to pass the time or make me go to sleep or something. And now I'm actually thinking about what I'm watching and like because there's whenever I talk about something on the podcast, I'm like, okay, how can I relate this to my life or what is my life telling me about like what I'm getting from this media? And so it's like I'm actually thinking about what I'm consuming, and I've seen a trend of watching a lot more positive things having started this podcast, started being on this podcast.
And do you think the outcome, like, has it made a more positive outcome? Do you think?
Yeah, it definitely because like it was it was like literally I would just press the next thing that shows would suggest me watch that it's like, oh, other people watch this, and I would just be like, okay, just like click, and it was usually not great. Like it wasn't really story driven, or it would be just trash. And there's a lot of trash out there. And I really didn't care at that point, but I've noticed, and like, there's a lot of changes that have been happening in my life too. But I've noticed that, like, with my media stuff, and I still need to kind of filter out my social medias a little bit.
And The Sims, I totally agree.
And The Sims.
Shut
That's
up.
what I was gonna
That
say.
okay. Listen though, that actually brings me joy.
That was actually gonna bring up something for me with The Sims. I'm sorry, it kind of cut you off, Lauren. You can keep finish. You can finish. You can finish.
No, it's just basically me saying the same thing of like I'm just watching better stuff, and it's making me feel happier and not like trashy and hopeful.
So we give her a lot of crap on The Sims, but I love how this has brought us to understand each other better, because media does affect your life. It affects who you are, it affects the way that you view the world. And if you understand what other people like and why they like it, then you can understand them a little bit more. Josh did something a couple weeks ago where he watched all of my favorite things, and I thought that was just so cool. I literally, it makes me feel better as a person when I think about the fact that Josh did that. That was not an easy thing. That took a lot of time. That is a super cool thing. And I think he understands me a little bit better. When we talk about things, when we dig deep, I understand him a little bit better. Lauren, me and you were kind of acquaintances before we started this, and I feel like I understand you better. I feel like we're friends, and that is a cool thing. Media, like this good media, can really bring people together and help us understand one another, and I love that.
So I actually want to now circle back to something that Conlon said. Quite a bit different of a topic, but it is one of the questions I had written down for us to talk about. Is there anything, what stands out to you? Conlon, you said it got you to try a bunch of stuff you wouldn't have necessarily have otherwise. Is there anything that stands out in that topic?
As far as things I wouldn't have tried out, Magical World of Leprechauns, whatever the heck it was called, absolutely is like yeah, that's my stand. I wouldn't have ever watched that. Never in a million years would I've ever watched that. I would have died not watching that show. And it was extremely charming, and I really, really enjoyed that movie. I watched it again. I actually watched that movie again, and I just really liked it. The other one, which surprisingly got onto my top 10 list, I won't say where yet, was Artful Dodger. I love this show. I've watched it 3 times. I probably should not have watched it as much as I have, but it's another one where I would have looked at it and been like, looks decent, but I wouldn't have given it a shot. And it is... You think so?
Yeah,
I think I would.
I mean,
I think I would have had other things on my list.
Person goes to the past.
I
Show you really like.
love this show. I love it. But yeah, those are 2 that stick in my head.
Lauren, do you have any standouts of you probably wouldn't have, but you were surprised by?
What was the courtroom one?
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men.
Killing Her Men.
I would have never watched that, but I actually really liked it. Because like when I was watching it, I like had started cooking because I was like, oh, let's just get through it. And then I ended up like pausing my cooking, and I'm like, wait. And I remember just like standing over my kitchen counter, like watching my phone, and I like got into it, and I was surprised that I did. I can't think. I think that's like the one that I can like think of off the top of my head. But I know that there have been some others where I'm like, okay, well, this is a shared topic, so we have to get through it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, actually. But yeah,
Very, very cool. My
What
last
about
question.
you? No,
Oh.
you gotta answer that one.
I don't have anything specific off the top of my head that I'm willing to give away. There is something on my top 10 list that we'll talk about. It's not going to surprise you. But it's a show that I was adamantly against watching because of the actor pairing.
Okay.
And is now on my top 11 shows of all time. Basically, when I did that thing for Conlon, all of those were movies I had been putting off, avoiding, not wanting to watch, thought was, I hate to say it, but below me. Like, specifically The Descent, I was like, that's such a dumb, like, I have a higher class of horror to watch. I don't need to watch that garbage. I know better than that
That's
kind of stuff.
peasant horror.
And my attitude was that way about a lot of things. And I think some of that I was right about, like Lethal Weapon. But there was a lot that I was surprised about as well. And my other, like, moment was Dinotopia. Not necessarily because Dinotopia is so great, but because I got to tell Conlon that Dinotopia is better than Jurassic Park. The first one.
It's still one of your worst takes
I will
ever.
remember that moment forever. And
Well,
this podcast gave me the ability to do that. And, like, I would have never watched Dinotopia. Ever.
that's true. I
I've
wouldn't
never
have
even
watched
heard
it
of
either.
it. I doubt I would have even heard of such a thing. Even with Lauren and I talking, before the podcast, not as in depth, she would get me to watch stuff. She would probably know better than me, but I don't think Dinotopia ever came up. Okay, maybe one time.
It was another one that I was like, I have told him to watch this, and now I can make him.
So those are my standouts. They're a little bit more recent, but like this, we'll get more into it. But like, there's Odd Thomas, a fan recommendation. I absolutely fell in love with that movie. It's not a movie I would have ever watched, even if I had heard about it and looked into it. I would have been like, I'm not into quirky weirdo guys like that. Like, I'm not gonna watch this. But because of this podcast, because of a fan recommendation, I did. I absolutely fell in love with that movie. It's done a lot for me in that way. It's got me to try a lot of different things, and I'm very thankful for that.
Cool.
Okay, my last question. You guys can ask some if you have any, but my last question is, Lauren, how did you feel making your top 10 list? How did you feel narrowing it down? And Conlon, how did it feel different this time compared to last time?
There is one thing that is off of my list that absolutely freaking shocked me.
Me too.
That's what I'm going to say. Other than that, it wasn't... It wasn't as super intense or anything, but there was one thing on there that I cannot believe. I'm looking at it right now and I'm still like, wow.
Lauren,
Yeah.
how did you feel trying to narrow it down to your top 10? Oh, by the way, Lauren picked top 10s to go first because she was like, that one will be easier for me.
It was not. I did say that. It was not easy. Yeah, so I had to because there's so many, and I was like, okay, I'm like, if we're just looking at animes, I could put a whole bunch in. So I did a whole bunch of brackets for like animes, and I'm like, I'm only going to put one anime movie in my top 10s. Shows, because I was like, I realized there's a lot of other things, and I was like, okay. And I started listing out all of the TV shows that I like, and then I was like, okay, what constitutes it being in my top 10? Is it nostalgia? Is it this? And so I finally, some things got kicked off because I put it in, how it's affected me in my life, or if there are ties from my life that I can see in those shows. And so that's what ended up making my top 10s, is if I had ties of it, like deep ties into my life for the podcast. Because there's still some I have a lot of honorable mentions that would make a different top 10 if I made my top 10 have a different
Top 10 anime.
yeah, or if it's like, these are my top 10 comfort TV shows, or these are my top 10, this is what I just put on in the background all the time. And so that's what I had to do, is I was like, okay. And then I made a new list where I was like, ones that I want to talk about on the podcast later because I feel like they deserve to be talked about. But yeah, it was hard, and then it was hard like putting like which ones meant more uh, above the other ones, and I was like, I love you all equally, just not at the same time. And there's one on there that got higher than the rest because of what season we're in. Otherwise, it would go down on the list. But I've been really wanting to watch it, and so when I was doing the brackets, I was like, "But I want to watch this one right now." And I was like,
Totally fair, yeah.
"Yeah." So
Season definitely impacts the list. For sure.
it was a battle.
Yeah. My list has changed almost completely, if not
Really?
entirely. I have some pretty interesting things that have come. Uh, there's a show that I would have sworn would be on my top 10 list and isn't. Um, I have some pretty hot takes to get into this week, and a lot of that is because this podcast has made me more confident in my own opinions. Um, the one that fell off my list is like one that if I was ever really honest with myself probably wouldn't have been on my top 10 last year, but I kind of felt a little bit of social pressure to put it on there. But I feel a lot better about it this time, so I'm a lot more honest with myself about what this list is, so that's why mine has changed pretty dramatically.
Okay, I'm excited.
Anything you guys want to go over or talk about?
I don't think so. I like your questions. Those are good.
With that, let's get started with number 11. I'll go ahead and kick it off. My number 11 last year was Chernobyl. An absolutely fantastic show. It sadly did not make my list this year, just falling off of it, but my number 11 this year is the show From. And if I were to tell you critically, I think Chernobyl is a better show, but this podcast brought me From, and we've had a lot of conversations about From because of this podcast. We've argued about it, we've fought each other about it, we've had different theories about it. I'm still excited for the next season to come out next year. So in terms of impact, this has had a far greater impact on my life than Chernobyl did, even though I still absolutely love that show so much. My number 11 changed to From.
Okay.
Okay.
My number 11 last year was Your Lie in April. And my number 11 is a show that this is the one that I heavily debated the most because I haven't reviewed this. This is a show that I finished the week that I missed, and I haven't talked about it, which is crazy. But I was like, I just barely watched this. Is it really like that high on my list? Is it really there? And it's Shogun. I read the book. I got so into this, and I haven't talked about it at all. But I was like, what do I really like in shows? I like cool world building, which this is just ancient Japan, but it's so different, and you're exploring such a different thing that it feels almost like fantasy world building, and they do a great job with it. I love great characters. It has great characters. I love epic battle scenes. It has epic battle scenes. I love religious conflict. It has religious conflict. I love cultural conflict. It has cultural conflict. And it's brilliant. Like, the whole entire show is brilliant. When I looked up historical accuracy, and there's some problems, but there's a lot of historical accuracy in this show. I love it. I just love this show. The ending isn't quite as good as the beginning, but I was like, does it really deserve to be here? And I think it does, because it's like everything I like in a show. It's just really, really good.
Okay. Lauren?
Um,
Number 11.
Rude, first off. I had a top 10, and then I have a whole bunch of honorable mentions, and I have been sweating trying to figure out which one is 11.
I sent a text.
Yeah, He did.
I said, I'm doing 11. And Colin made a joke that it was almost 11:11 for you guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in my brain, I interpreted that as I'm doing 11, not we are doing 11. um,
So, not number 11, just one of your honorable mentions then.
okay,
At
so
random, just an honorable mention.
okay, so my top one I have, like just in the list, first one I have is Danny Phantom.
Good choice. That's a great number 11. I approve.
I was gonna say, I think I was gonna pick that one as my 11 anyway, because that's what I've been like wanting to watch recently. So,
It's a good pick.
yeah, it's fun. It's awesome. It's quirky.
Okay, Lauren, what about your number 10?
All right. I think this is like not a surprise, but I think it might be for where you think it is on the list. I have Psych as number 10.
Good choice.
Okay.
It
Should be
made
higher, but good choice.
it made my list because this was the movie I would watch with my dad. So like we were watching it like as the episodes were coming out and everything, and I can remember coming home from school and I'm like, Dad needs to get here so we can watch Psych because it's recorded. We need to watch it. And so like I even remember later like after I'd graduated and moved out, my dad had like a small procedure done, and he like texted me and he's like, "Hey, I'm watching Psych, and it's making me like it reminds me of you and like the times that we would have together." And I was like, "Oh." And then I also the only series that I own on DVD is that's a lie. I own two, but is Psych, and then another one that is also on my list. Um, and so, because I remember I lived off grid for like a summer and I had a laptop and I was like, what do I want to be able to watch? And it was Psych, so I bought every season so I could watch Psych that summer.
You're really selling me
awesome.
that this should be higher on your list.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll see
agree.
why it's not. But because like my list, like I said, all have like little ties of stuff. So,
Well, that's
but
very
yeah,
cool.
that's I knew Psych had to make it onto my top 10 because of that.
That's very cool. Okay, Conlon, number 10.
So, Josh, this is gonna. I was surprised by your last one because that is my number 10. I put From as number 10. And even though I do have problems with the show, they were the exact same reasons that you gave. I loved thinking about it. I still think about this show. It actually like takes a place in my brain. I loved our conversations. I loved digging deeper into it. And it was one that surprised me because I didn't think it would be this high. I would have given it an honorable mention, but it did actually make my list for many of the same reasons that you just gave. I don't. I think there are better shows on my list. I think there are better shows, but it was extremely impactful on me, and I've thought a lot more. When we get into our top 10 movies, there's a movie that I didn't even have in my honorable mentions that made it because of how impactful it was to me. And this show was significantly more impactful than I even might think it has a right to be. But it just is. And that was From was my number 10.
There you go. Thank you, fan who recommended it. It's
Yeah.
made both of our top list. Super appreciate that.
Also, I loved listening to those episodes when you guys talked about From. I was
Yeah,
like,
she
wait,
didn't even have to watch it, and she got all this. Okay, so for my number 10 last year, it was Top Gear / The Grand Tour. This year, it is Star Wars Rebels, a show that fell a lot higher on my list last year. This is just me being more honest with myself. I still absolutely love this show. Stuff that is beaten out is actually stuff I watched because of this podcast, so I feel really good about that. It's still an amazing show. The reason it ended up falling down is because I do have a problem with the first 1.5 seasons. and that was ultimately the deal breaker that dropped it on my list. Okay, number 9. Last year was Haunting on Hill House for me, and this year it is a new show that I watched, starring Eddie Redmayne, called The Day of the Jackal. It's just one season so far, but it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I don't think I've anticipated a season 2 more than with this show. It's one that can absolutely drop off when season 2 comes out. It might suck and kind of tear me down. But as it stands right now, I absolutely love this show. So it fell at my number 9. Okay, Lauren, what's your number 9?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Surprise. This is my number 9 because I actually really love the art style, and I reference this series a lot for animation, 2D animation. It has so many effects in this show, and surprise everybody, I went to school for 2D animation, and so I have even a greater appreciation for all of the animation that they did on this show and what they were able to accomplish. And I remember when I was watching it as a kid, I wanted to be able to draw like the characters. And so I did doodle a lot of that, trying to mimic that style when I was in high school. And honestly, that's how I got. So there's a little video in the Timpanogos, Mount Timpanogos Visitor Center that shows you how Mount Timpanogos was made, and animated that, and a lot of the water stuff that's happening in there was me watching a lot of Avatar.
That's really cool.
So
That's really cool.
yeah, so it's it helped me develop a lot of my animation skills, and then plus it's a solid series. It deals with a lot of issues and things that I think are digestible for kids and adults, and I think any age could watch it. So that's why it's making my top 10.
Very cool.
Okay, Colin.
This one, there's a couple that did stay the same. This one stayed the same, as number 9 was The Expanse, and my number 9 is still The Expanse. I love this show. I love the sci-fi elements. I can rewatch it. I think the book just makes the show better, and the show just makes the book better. It's the only series where I've ever seen that reading the book just makes you appreciate the show more. Where they work off of each other. I love this show. I love the acting. I love everything about it. I love the show.
Okay, very cool. I love that you love plagiarism.
Yeah, dude. Love it.
Number 8, Colin.
Number 8 was Chernobyl. And now I moved Your Lie in April up. Partly because it was just so impactful for me. And I've talked about how much this show really deeply moved me. And I just had to move it up a little bit. Moved from 11 up to 8.
Lauren?
Okay, my number 8 is Doctor Who. There's just, when I was thinking of as a whole, I probably would drop it down lower, but for specific episodes, I think that that's why it made my list. And I was a nerdy little girl in high school, didn't have any friends, but I had Doctor. So sad. But it was really funny because in my small town, I was the only person who watched Doctor Who. And then I found out that there was people online who loved Doctor Who, so I kind of had felt like there was some people in my corner. And then I got a couple people into Doctor Who in my town, and then it kind of somebody asked me to a dance with a Doctor Who puzzle. It was funny because it was a picture that he had like printed out and laminated onto a puzzle, and most of it was just black. And so I was like, it was all one color, and he had like the answer. Oh, I asked him on the dance uh, to a dance because it was Sadie's, and he answered with this puzzle. And so the answer was on the back, and I was like, I basically ended up flipping the puzzle and then putting the answer together because I couldn't get the picture because it was mostly just black space. Um,
That's
but
almost as mean as my answer.
how did you do that?
I told the girl my answer's in the flour, and I put a 20-pound bag of flour on her porch. And she dug through it for like 3 hours and then decided I need a break and went down to like wash up and take a shower and went into her room, and it was all decorated with flowers, and on her pillow was a flower with the answer in it.
Was it no? No, just kidding.
That would be particularly mean.
That'd be so rude. But yeah, no, it was a yes, but also it like had me discover David Tennant, who's a phenomenal actor, and like BBC, and I like a lot of stuff from like BBC, and so that was kind of like my introductory to that, and I just yeah, Doctor Who's solid. Really long, and I feel like you can find episodes that anybody will love in it. Um, so yeah, it's Doctor Who.
You should send me some of those episodes.
Okay,
For real.
I can.
I
Yeah, I'll
want
show you ones
to
worth
like
watching.
Doctor Who. I really do. I want to like
If you
that
look
show.
up a list of the
There's a
Christmas
vampire
specials,
one.
I think they're all really good.
Okay.
Yeah, Christmas specials are good. There is a vampire one.
All right. I like vampire ones.
I'll send that one. Yeah.
Alright, my number 8 last year was Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
My number 8 this year is another new show I watched, Mobland. I, again, just absolutely fell in love with this show. I'm very excited for season 2. I would define my previous year as more hopeful than previous years because my number 9 largely depends on a season 2, and my number 8 also largely depends on a season 2. This was a show that proved me wrong. I never thought I'd be into like the gang thing. Like the best one I had seen was the Penguin, but I still didn't fall in love with it the way Conlon did. But this one made me fall in love with it, and the other thing was I was so excited because it was one that I would get to share with Conlon. Most of these shows
I suck
very much like
so bad. I haven't finished it.
that's fine. It's like shows like a lot of times when these are your kind of shows, you've already seen them, so I don't get to be the one to share
That's true.
something that I think you would like, and this was one that I got to share that I thought you would like. And it's clear you don't like it as much as me. Totally fine. I still think it's a brilliant show. I still absolutely love it. And it's got one of my favorite actors in it playing a completely different role that you don't get to see him do all the time. And so it came in, just beat out Day of the Jackal, which actually right now I'm kind of thinking like, I'm really excited about Day of the Jackal season 2. I'm not as excited about season 2 of Mobland, but that's where it fell, so that's where it's going to stay this year. Yeah. Alright, for my number 7, last year it was Devil is a Part-Timer. And this year it is Devil's a Part-Timer. It didn't change. I still absolutely love this show. It's gotten even better since they released season 2. Still excited for more. I'm glad they're taking their time with it. This is just the most fun, positive, non-garbagey, feel-goody. We've talked about it on this podcast with like how these Korean shows have these like long burning romances, and so does this one. And I'm so excited to see that romance finally play out, and so it stayed at my number 7. It's just an amazing show.
Very cool.
Okay, Lauren, what's your number 7?
Man on the Inside. I was like really surprised when I watched this, because this was before the podcast when I was watching, and I was just clicking anything that was new on Netflix. And then it was like actually something that was good, and I just remember like getting like such a boost of like, oh my gosh, I guess the world is all crap. And it also made me like make sure to go visit my grandpa more. And so like I've been going and visiting my grandpa more, and like I took him to go see um oh, what's that Tom Cruise movie that we all hate?
Mission Impossible. The
There we
last
go.
one. Dead Reckoning. I think it's called.
Yeah, so like I went and took him to watch that, and like I have plans to go do like fall things with him, and like literally Man on the Inside kind of like pushed me to be like, hey, like remember this stuff, because like unfortunately I feel like a lot of our elders are getting um neglected, yeah, and forgotten. And like I remember I used to volunteer at a home, and like I would just, it was so fun for me to like go and listen to everybody's stories, those who would like want to talk to me at least. Some of them really did not want me to talk to them. I was like, that okay, I respect. But like those who did want to tell, like um it was, and like I love how Man on the Inside represents that of the community, and like an older community and things like that. So that's why this one's on my list. I think it's very wholesome. I think it gives sheds light on a new perspective, and that people need to remember is there. And so yeah, that's my song.
I will say this, it's an honorable mention for me, and I was shocked at how far it would go in my brackets. I, like, genuinely, I was like, how is this show still on the bracket when that one got knocked out in round 1? I've still got this show, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Maybe I needed to do a bracket because I didn't even consider that for an honorable mention. I like the show. I think it's good, but
Yeah.
was not on mine.
for me, just for our listeners thing, I would build a bracket, go to the final one, and then I didn't want like the one that lost to be number 2, because what if the number 1 beat out a previous show that would have made it number 2? So I would just remove it and reset the bracket and go all the way through it again. And there was a point in time where Man on the Inside made it to the final.
Wow.
It was one of my easier finals to pick because I was like, yeah, this one clearly beats Man on the Inside. But like, repeatedly, I was like, a show is still on this list. That's crazy. I still love it, but no, it didn't make my list.
Yeah. It made mine.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Conlon.
Okay, my number 7 last year is one that fell completely off my list, which is Arcane. We've talked a lot about season 2, but I have problems with season 2. And I think that if they would have had more episodes, it could have not had those problems, but it felt extremely rushed to me. My number 7 this year is one from last year. It's Outlander. I love this show. I love the whole historical aspects. I love, well, everything I liked with Shogun. I like the big battles. I like the romance. I love the characters. I just love this show. And this is one where the next season that's coming out really could cause a problem with it. They have more books than the seasons they're going to do, and our main actress doesn't want to do any more show. She wants to be done. So they're ending it early. Maybe they can end it good. Maybe they can't. I don't really know. Fingers crossed.
See, that's the one where she goes back in time and is the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Or the nurse, yeah. See, that's why I think you would have eventually watched the other one on your list.
Artful Dodger.
Artful
Yeah.
Dodger, because it has a similar vibe. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, number 6, Colin.
Number 6 was Breaking Bad. Now it's Midnight Mass, which I did have as an honorable mention last year. But I love vampires, and I love this show, and I love horror. And I was looking at my list last year, and I was like, I don't have any horror shows. What the hell is wrong with me? I guess The Expanse at times could kind of count. But I love Midnight Mass. It's very different from other shows that I've ever seen. I love the pacing. I love the plotting. I love the characters. I love the idea behind the vampire. It is absolutely unique. And just felt like a duh idea to me. The more I think about it, the more I love horror, and I just have to admit that I love this show.
Okay, my number 6 last year was Star Wars Rebels, which came down to my number 10 this year. This year, my number 6 is Terminal List. Plain and simple, I forgot about this show last year. Didn't even make my honorable mentions last year. Maybe it's a recency bias thing because I'm watching Dark Wolf.
Which is excellent, Josh. I'm going to talk about it eventually. It's
great.
freaking good.
It's really good, but Terminal List is better. And so maybe it's just because of that. I don't know. I'm not going to say that because I'm not watching Terminal List. I'm watching Dark Wolf, and they're different shows. But I love Terminal List. I think it's one of the best made kinds of these shows, if not the best made one. Okay, Lauren, what's your number 6?
This one is because we're in the fall season and I really want to watch it. Is Over the Garden Wall. This is kind of like a cozy aesthetic.
That's a trip.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I don't
know you
get
guys don't
I
like this.
don't understand it at all, Lauren.
I think Greg is funny. There's it's so quotable to me. There's something kind of it's not ASMR, but that's what this feels like to me because it feels very calming.
This feels like ASMR to you? That
No,
is
not
wild.
necessarily, but kind of. With how when they're yelling, it's not loud, it's not intense, you know. So it's just it feels calming to me with funny one-liners, like when the horse that can talk and they're like, no, we're not gonna make the horse do this. The horse has its own will. He can do whatever he wants. And he's like, I want to steal. This is just so funny to me. And I quote Greg all the time about in the first episode when the wolf's trying to get him while he's in the bottom of a barrel, and his eyes are really big, and he's like, "You have beautiful eyes." It's so funny to me. But it feels like fall. It feels cozy to me. There is one episode that I skip every single time because it's weird, and that's the Cloud City one. I do not like that episode, and so that's why it's not further up my list. But this is my fall go-to movie that I like to kick off fall with. So yeah.
All right. That's
I like the
awesome.
music. Feels cozy to me.
I'll say this, it was on my list to rewatch. Because I tried watching it before. I think in the 3rd episode they just jumped to entirely new characters or something. And I just remember going I don't even understand what is even going on anymore. And I've been told that things loop back in and it makes more sense later. I know that this show has a lot of love, so I've been wanting to rewatch it and just actually finish it and get that connection. But
Is it the episode Jason Thunderburger?
I don't know. It's very early on in the show where I was like, what the This is so weird. I don't even. What is even going on?
We can do it as a shared topic sometime, because I would rewatch it too, because I read the reviews and I'm like, I don't understand. I didn't finish it either. I didn't get all the way to the end. I was like, what am I watching?
I feel like
Very much the same.
if you're not like into, like, I'm trying to think of like what this is, because like,
Crap, garbage, stuff that doesn't make sense. Weirdo
sir,
stuff.
stop yourself.
acid trip.
It's like,
Doing shrooms.
I mean, like if you were into, what is his name?
Elijah Wood.
No, the dude, Beetlejuice. I think he does Beetlejuice
Oh,
and Scissorhands and
Yeah. Now I can't think of his name either.
what?
Johnny Depp does not do.
No, the
No,
director.
he's thinking of the director, and I can't think of his
Oh.
name either. And it's now bothering me.
What the heck is his name?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I cannot remember his name. Super famous weirdo dude. Beetlejuice. Edward Scissorhands. The one I was looking for.
Tim Burton.
Yes, Tim Burton. It feels like Tim Burton directed this to me. And if
And
you're
I
really into
love
Tim
Tim
Burton,
Burton.
then I could see you being into this. Absolutely. But that's what
I
it
didn't
felt like
watch
to me.
enough of the show to watch, but they are two different weirds to me.
Oh, I felt they
Yeah.
were very, very similar weird.
I feel like this is Tim Burton's like gothic weird. And this is still weird, and but we'll see with higher up on my list that I like weird. It's very like
Okay.
it's like I don't know why, but it's comforting to me when there's stuff that like it doesn't really give you all the answers. It's like this is just the way it is, and I'm like, okay, just accept it. But I really like the art style, and everything feels very cozy to me and very fall. So, yeah,
Okay, we've all done our number 6, right?
yes.
We're on to 5. Okay, Lauren, number 5.
Okay, this is My Hero Academia, and I was like, it has to be on the list because I have Funko Pops of My Hero Academia. I'm like, everything on that top shelf is My Hero Academia, and I was like obsessed with My Hero Academia for I think about this is probably like a solid 3 years where that was like I wanted to get all of the manga that I could get my hands on. I wrote a freaking fanfic about it. So it had to make my top 10. I really like this anime because it is very, like, I really like the leading character is very wholesome. He's like what they call like a cinnamon roll. And so I really like Midoriya. I do get a little bit further on in the series, I get a little bit upset that he's not as like he's very Spider-Man coded because he's not the strongest, and so he's trying, well actually he is the strongest, but it breaks his bones, and so he has to be very smart about how he goes about his battles, and he has to like think and analyze, and like before he had his quirk or his superpower, he took notes on how everybody used their superpowers and how they did these things, and so he was very analytical of everything. And I wish they would bring that more into the movies that they make. And I realize that that's not the actual author doing the movies, but yeah, the movies are like, I just gotta punch harder. Like, no. But yeah, I really like this because it's like it's very hopeful. The music is really good. I have a lot of the music on like my playlists and stuff for when I want to feel happy and like hopeful. Yeah, I really like all the dynamic characters in it. I think it's very creative, and it consumed my life for 3 years. Like for one Christmas, I remember all my friends just gave me My Hero Academia themed things, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
So
It has recently popped up on my to-watch list as well.
It's one that is it one of the forever animes? Because I have struggled with the forever animes that like never end.
it only has like 4 seasons.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And
I
like
thought
it's
12 movies and like
the
30
manga
books and
just ended.
20 games and
It does have 2 games. The manga just ended, and I think they're pretty close with the season. So I think they might have 1 or 2 more seasons.
Okay.
But they do it well. They follow the manga
Really well.
very nicely. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm looking for a new anime right
Yeah.
now. currently, actually.
I would suggest that one. I like it.
Okay. Okay.
okay, so for my number 5, last year it was Psych. This year it is Shrinking. This is the one I alluded to before, where I was adamantly opposed to Harrison Ford and Jason Segel together. I was like, that combination's not going to work. They're just different people. And I would say this is the most surprising show I may have ever watched in my entire life. Because not only is it extremely good, it approaches topics that I think are extremely important. It shows them extremely well. It deals with them extremely well. And it is one I connected with extremely well. I really don't have much more to say. I was totally wrong about the duo. They work great together. Their dynamic is great. I love every single person on the show. I love the plot of the show. It's one I watched for the first time less than a year ago. Right? We watched it as a shared topic, if I'm not wrong. And since then, I've watched it 3 more times.
Wow.
Like, I absolutely love this show. It is a very important show, and I don't think just for me. I think this is an important show for people. The way it talks about male mental health is super, super important and doesn't get shown in almost anything, and this one does it brilliantly.
Very cool.
Okay, Conlon, what's your number 5?
My number 5 was Dark last year. Dark actually fell off my list, even though I still find it brilliant. It was Dark, Solo Leveling, Shogun, and there was one other where the 4 that I was like, which one of these goes in my 11? I don't know. And it fell off. In its place, I did put The Artful Dodger. I just love this show. It is wildly charming to me. It just fits. It fits my romantic comedy. Like, everything about it just works for me. It just works for me. I love the way that it's filmed. I love the... it just is so freaking charming. And it hits me in the enjoyable part of my brain perfectly, and I don't know why I like it so much, but I just love this show.
Another fan recommendation. So thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That I love it. I love this show.
Okay, Conlon, number 4.
Number 4 was Blackbird. Now it is Breaking Bad. Josh and I have argued plenty about Breaking Bad. I still think it's absolutely brilliant. I will rewatch this soon, because why the heck not? I love the character development. It has one of my favorite character developments in anything ever. I love the twist. The villain is one of... There's a reason that... what's his name? What is his name? Gus is his name in the character, but he's a villain in, like, everything now, because he just does such a good job in this show. The side characters, the way that everybody reacts and changes based on what Bryan Cranston does, and it causes character development based on the negative things he does, is not something that's written very often, because it's a hard thing to write. but all of the characters have character development based on what he does, and based on what they do, he has further character development. It is development on top of development on top of development, and it is a hard thing to write that is done extremely well. I don't even know how to say his first name. The last name Esposito, who plays Gus Fring in the show, is an excellent villain. He's extremely well written, and he just acts it perfectly. Everyone was perfect in this cast. Perfect show.
Perfect show. So you'd give it a 10 out of 10 then?
Okay, not a perfect show. I can't say perfect show because I don't give 10s.
Except you do. You do.
Nope.
You've broken the rule.
We need to delete that episode.
It is on the record.
We need to delete that episode. No
We're gonna
10s
clip it.
will ever be given.
Okay, Lauren, what do you got for number 4?
Okay, I have Star Wars Rebels as number 4. I have that so high because this was a recommendation from Josh, and I remember seeing like Star Wars Rebels be on the TV as like an advertisement or like an ad for it, and I was like, oh, that's dumb. That's just a cash grab. Oh, I hate all these little shoots, and like it was kind of when a lot of TV shows were just the same thing happens every single time, but just a little bit different. And so that's what I thought Rebels was. And then Josh was like, no, if you like Star Wars, you should just watch it. And then I had my freaking mind blown because it's so good. And like, I literally because I like writing and stuff, and I like playing D&D, and like a lot of things that when I'm writing or anything are inspired by Rebels a lot of the times, because like I feel like they hit every single trope well and like satisfactory, other than the weird baby at the end. I'm still mad about that. But yeah, I remember finishing it and then immediately rewatching it, and then it didn't hurt enough, so I watched it again. And it was it blew my mind. I liked Star Wars, but this like made me love Star Wars. And so like that's why none of the other Star Wars I guess there's there's a lot of TV shows now. But like in movies, I don't think any Star Wars made my top, but like Rebels made me freaking love Star Wars.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, Colin, what you got for number 4?
Number 4, didn't we just do 4? I just did 4.
Oh yeah. I think it's to you, Josh.
Am I going the wrong way? So my number 4?
Yeah.
My number 4 is my number 5 from last year. It is, so last year my number 4 was Avatar: The Last Airbender. This year it is Psych. This is one where I'm just being a little bit more honest with myself. I don't think there's any more impactful show for my childhood. There's a lot of movies that my family would watch together. I think this is the only show that my family would watch together. I absolutely love it. We talked about it in a previous episode, how it has an episode about a dating show, and how that's not really done so much. There's a YouTube channel that I've already shared on the podcast about the show, where it talks about how this is just the absolute pinnacle representation of Sherlock and Watson, and it's because Watson is not just a sounding board in this show, and how Gus actually has expertise and he contributes. And the humor is great. This is a positive, great show that I could turn on anytime. And the reason I can turn it on at any time, in any mood, the reason I love Princess Bride so much is because it fills every gap. Whatever you're looking for, it fits. And Psych is that way. If you want to watch horror, you want to watch the best horror you've ever seen, watch the Yin Yang episodes. Or the Tuesday the 17th episode. Do you want to watch some of the funniest stuff you've ever seen? Okay, watch the Escape Convicts episode. Or the the reality dating show stuff. There's a lot of talk about how the show takes a dip after Sean and Juliet start dating again. I think that's kind of true, but I also think it's overblown because if you look at individual episodes, like if you were to just put the show on shuffle, those are some of the best episodes to show up. The Clue episode, for example, is one of my favorites. It happens during that time. So it's just an amazing show that is near and dear to my heart. This is probably the most like biased part episode or show on my list is just because of how much it means to me, but I still think it's a brilliant show. I think everybody would like at the very least, but I think most people would love, and because it feels like there's anything in it. They do every genre. They do everything, and they do everything so well. There's even Psych the Musical, which is not bad. Like, name a genre, you'll find it in Psych. So you can always turn on Psych and find something good, positive, clean to watch. And so that's why it came so high on my list.
Very cool.
Okay, number 3. My number 3 last year was Arcane. My number 3 this year is Ted Lasso. It is the most real, true, honest show I can ever watch, and I don't know much to say more about it. It's respectful and it's honest, yet it's goals. It shows real people with real struggles, even when they aren't as apparent. Everybody has good sides and bad sides, and every character develops extremely real. I know Conlon has a lot of problems with season 3. I don't have any problems with season 3. I only have a problem with one episode in season 3, which is the only episode Conlon says is great in season 3. And, like, say what you will about season 3, like it or hate it. The thank you and fuck you scene is iconic.
It's amazing. That scene is amazing.
Has made a bigger impact on people's lives than I think any singular scene in any show has ever done. Because I know people who have done that because of this show. And
That's
I know
really cool.
people that know that they need to do it or should do it because of that show. And it's so brilliantly done. Like, I'm a manager, and we always talk about, like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but we always talk about how when you're doing hard conversations or disciplinaries, you always do the compliment sandwich. You say one genuine thing that's really good, you give the corrective action, you give them a place to go with it. You don't just say, you suck at this, you say, this is what we need to see, this is how you get there, and you end with a compliment at the bottom. This is just 10 compliment sandwiches on top of each other. Like, there's no healthier way to have done that in such a short amount of time, and it's absolutely brilliant. I am one of the people that knows I need to be doing that more because of this show. And there's funny, there's good, there's positive. It gives a healthy showing of therapy. Like, there's so much to love about this show. But that is my number 3 this year. Conlon, what you got number 3?
This is the one that shocked me. My number 3 was Rebels, and Rebels is not on my list.
It's illegal. You're disqualified.
Yeah.
Redo your list. Just kidding. Do the brackets.
Rebels season 4 was my favorite Star Wars thing. Like, period. I love Star Wars my entire life. And I was really thinking, like, really considering this list. And when I thought about it, I think about Ahsoka. And I think Ahsoka was my Last Jedi for you, Josh. I hate Ahsoka. Don't like Ahsoka. I hate that show. And every single time I think about season 4 and how much it meant to me and how excited I was, I think about Ahsoka. And it soured my Ahsoka soured my mood towards all of Star Wars, but it particularly soured my mood towards season 4 of Rebels, which sucks because I loved it so much. I was sad looking at this list and thinking about Rebels not being there. Like, it made me sad. It makes me sad talking about it now. I'm sad that this is not on my list anymore, but it just couldn't be. I hate Ahsoka. I hate that show.
I think that that definitely played a role in why it dropped so far down my list as well.
I'm so good at dissociating. Ahsoka does not exist to me.
Makes me
I wish I
so
could
happy.
be that way. I wish I could ignore the sequels. I wish I could ignore Mandalorian and Boba Fett, basically all their other shows. But
Me too, but I cannot ignore Ahsoka. I can't.
okay, Lauren, number 3.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't actually say what my number 3 was.
Oh,
my
yeah.
number 3 is now Blackbird.
Oh. I didn't even notice. Sorry.
Yeah, I just got so sad. I literally felt myself get sad again that this show is not on there anymore. Blackbird. I just think Blackbird is one of the best put together shows of all time. Period.
Blackbird is one of my just missed, but it's a good show. Okay, Lauren, for real this time.
My number 3 is Adventure Time. This is like a true comfort show for me. Once again, like I get why you guys don't like it, but like it's so funny because so Adventure Time doesn't really have it very loosely follows like a storyline throughout the seasons, but not really. And I loved how like there's like a silliness to everything and like nothing makes sense. And it's really funny because I think about like the first therapist I ever had. I was like in high school, and I remember like telling her, I was like, I'm so sad and I don't know why. I'm trying to like figure out why. And she's like, you don't need to figure out why. Just feel it. You don't need to go searching for reasons to be sad. You can just be sad. And so like with Adventure Time, I'm like, oh, I don't need to know what the plot is. Just let the plot be. And so it's like very comforting to me in that way of like, I don't have to understand why there's a candy kingdom. I don't have to understand all of these things. And I just like let it be whimsical and silly. And like I like the characters. I like the shenanigans they get up to. That like he's just Finn the boy who wants to go on adventures with his weird stretchy dog. And there's like,
Gee, I wonder why you connect to that.
well, my dog's not stretchy, but
What? He has a thing.
yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, it's like, and I remember like when I would get really like sad or I was like going through something, I would watch like Adventure Time. It would make me like forget that and like it would make me like forget the like why I'm being sad and let me just like sit in my feelings and then just like I think I explained to Josh one time I was like just let it wash over you with Adventure Time because I was like I love it so much just let it happen. He's like no, it's weird. But yeah, so Adventure Time is just like a really big comfort show to me. And there are like some scenes that it's like, oh my goodness, like that was really profound for like what this show is. Because there is like this part where there's this vampire character and her dad is like trying to get her to get the Nightosphere or something. And it's like this really weird song she's singing about like him taking her fries or something, and she's like, you never like listen to me, you never like see me. And then like Finn goes and like punches her dad and he's like, you should see her. Stuff like that. And it's just like a whimsical way of like friends standing up for each other and like addressing some little things sometimes. But I might have you guys watch one episode that is my favorite, and it actually doesn't even have Finn in it most of the time. It just has like these snow golems. It's just very wholesome.
I
But
would watch it.
yeah,
I think
I'll try
Adventure
it.
Time has good moments. I'm not like adamantly opposed to it. I think it's, as a whole, is crazy to be on a top 11. But like, do you? It's all good.
yeah. I was like, this one's definitely a personal bias. Like, there is no means of like, this is like the best music, best animated, best storytelling. I'm like, this is very biased, but it does make it. I was surprised it wasn't like second or first, actually. But here we are.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, Conlon, I think you're up.
Mine has stayed the same. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love this show now. I love the show when I was a kid. It made me more creative. It's part of the reason why I love fantasy so much is because of this show. The character development of Zuko is phenomenal. All the character development is really good. The way they develop the powers is really good. The animation's fantastic. I love the ending. I still remember actively waiting for season 3 and just being like, when is it? And it's the thing I remember being the most excited about probably ever in my life was season 3 of Avatar. And I've had other times where I'm really excited about things and usually they let me down. This didn't let me down. I was like, yes, every single episode. I remember watching every episode as it came out and being like, let's go! And we have the Katara learning bloodbending episode. I'm like, that was so cool! And I remember it. Like, I remember experiencing those emotions. It's absolutely special. There's nothing else that's like it, in my opinion. There's nothing else that's... It's outstanding. It's an outstanding show.
Alright, what's your number 2? Conlon.
That was my number 2. I was on number 2.
Oh,
What's your number 3?
That was... It used to be Rebels, and then it's Blackbird.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Sorry. I'm all over the place.
Okay.
Alright, Lauren, what's your number 2?
Parks and Rec. This is because like my small town was very much like Pawnee. I remember like there's like an episode where they are having to deal with like the raccoon problem or something. And I distinctly remember going to the town hall to address our raccoon problem.
That's awesome.
It was so funny. It was like a city council thing, and we had to address this raccoon problem. And people, please have lids on your trash cans. And it was just so funny. And yeah, I can relate to this show so much with like how I grew up. Like there's the balloon festival that we have down there, and that's the biggest thing that we have there, and everybody like has like this pride in it. And then we also have like people doing the quilt walk festival that like no one outside of this town would know anything about, but we have a freaking statue dedicated to it in the middle of town now. And it's like there's like the mural in Parks and Rec of like I can't remember what it's titled, but it's like bad with like the settlers like massacring people, and we like literally have a plaque in town that says how we got the town, and then how we didn't have the town anymore, and then how we got the town back. And I'm like, can we not have this written in stone? I don't think that this looks very good.
Hey, that's better than where your school was placed.
Yeah. Well, it's not our school, but we had a school down there. Yeah.
Big difference, yeah.
Hey, at least
You
it
know
wasn't
how
on
there's
the
a
direct
joke about
spot.
the Indian burial ground?
So bad.
That's where the Penguin School was located.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Pretty. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not where I went to school. It
was
was
just-
much better.
Honoring all those Indian people by learning on their right above.
Stop right now. No, there
With
was.
that lovely note, we'll go ahead and hit my number two. My number two last year was Ted Lasso. This year it is How I Met Your Mother.
Whoa.
The shock.
Yeah,
I am very surprised by that.
that was my last
Genuinely.
year's number one. The
Wow.
reason it fell down is because of something that Conlon actually brought up earlier in this episode, and that is for the last year, I have not turned on How I Met Your Mother. And not only have I not turned it on, I have rarely even thought about it. And for that reason, I had to knock it down.
What is your number one? Wow.
It
Wow.
did fall down one slot. I still love it. It is still great. It is still my most watched show of all time. It is still one I will absolutely rewatch. It is one that I will defend the ending because I think it's great. It fell down a slot. is all. All right, we're gonna hit our honorable mentions now. I'm gonna kick this off with one not even an honorable mention for me anymore. One Conlon brought up because of its season 2, Arcane, not even honorable to me anymore. I felt
Neither.
like I should bring it up because it was so high on my list, number 3 last year. I felt like I should address that I think it's not great anymore. With that being said, I'm just gonna go down my list of honorable mentions. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Chernobyl, Parks and Rec, Haunting on Hill House, White Collar, House MD, Bones, Sword Art Online, Star Wars: Clone Wars, The Bear, Rising Impact, The Office, Big Bang Theory, Altered Carbon, Clarkson's Farm, Chuck, Cobra Kai, Love is War, Solo Leveling, Fearin', Gallivant, Julie and the Phantoms, Man on the Inside, The Pit, Queen's Gambit, The Ranch, and The Rookie. Okay, Lauren, what do you got for honorable mentions?
I have New Girl, Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man with Drake Bell as Spider-Man, Troll Hunters, Clarkson Farm, Monk, Full Metal, and Erased.
Conlon, I know you didn't really have it, but it sounds like you've been putting it together. What are your
Yeah.
honorable mentions?
Vikings, Pushing Up Daisies, Castle, Mindhunter, Battlestar Galactica, Dead Like Me, The Bear, Frerin, Haunting of Hill House, Solo Leveling, Chuck, Batman the Animated Series, Batman Begins, and I probably could have come up with more, but that's what I came up with while we were talking.
Totally fair. I do want to ask, Lauren, why did Clarkson's Farm not make your list?
I just put that one down because it would have been my 11 now that I think about it. But it was just because I have just watched it and it wasn't something that I would be watching right away again. But I do love Clarkson Farm. It is it's very wholesome. I love the music on it. I love the humor. But yeah, it didn't make the cut this year. If we were doing this in not fall time, Over the Garden Wall probably wouldn't be on the list, and Clarkson Farm would be.
And I have to add Ted Lasso. I do have problems with season 3, but it deserves to be an honorable mention. Like, that should be there. Just saying. But it should be there.
Yeah, it should.
Conlon, my question for you is, how the heck did Freerin not make your list
It did. I say that. I said that.
on your top list?
Oh, top 10? Because everything else I liked better. Season
I don't
2.
think I've ever seen Conlon talk more positively about any other show other than Your Lie in April.
I just. I don't. I love this show, right? But I don't find myself wanting to rewatch it, which is weird because I should, but I don't. And I don't know why. Season 2 could make it get on the list. I'm extremely excited for January. I think it comes out in January. Very excited.
I'll be honest, I thought your bigger shock would be knowing that Avatar The Last Airbender is not on my list than How I Met Your Mother not being number one.
No, dude. How I Met Your Mother not being number 1 is absolutely, like, gobsmacked shocked to me.
Well, How I Met Your, or Avatar The Last Airbender is the one that I felt social pressure to put on my list last year.
Okay.
It's one that it was like, everybody loves this show, everybody's connected to it. It's on both of your guys' list.
I thought it would be higher on my list. It barely made the cut.
I was being more honest with myself, and I was like, I really love the show. It is fantastic. Everything you guys say about the show, it's any age can watch it. It deals with serious stuff. It's still fun. Animation is great. It's just, I watched it later in life. It's still a rewatchable great show for me, but it just didn't make it.
I want to add one more honorable mention
Go for it.
that I think falls apart in the 3rd season, but I love the first 2 seasons, Kyle XY. It is a teen drama type show that I love.
My first
But
gay love.
it absolutely falls apart hard.
Alright, well, I will kick this off with my number one. Conlon is sitting on the edge of his seat. He's so
I am.
excited.
I don't even
So-
know what it's going to be.
Do you have any guesses? I'm just curious.
No, I don't know. I was like, keeping track. I'm like, is it Clarkson's Farm? There's no freaking way it's Clarkson's Farm.
I know it's Dinotopia.
I was like, maybe it's Top Gun. Is it, or not Top Gun? Top Gear. Maybe it's like. I was like, I don't freaking know. I don't know.
Well, with that being said, my number one is my number 10 from last year. It is Top Gear / Grand Tour.
Okay.
I find nothing more positive, clean, good, uplifting, and inspirational than I do this show. Plain and simple. This show makes me want to get out and go do things, go see places, go do things, build a car, make it ridiculous, go, like, I've said this before, like, I have a list of road trips I would love to do, and I have one that I'm like, this is one I would love to do with Lauren. And I have one that's like, if I could get AJ and Conlon, and we were just doing this road trip, it would be like the highlight of my life. All of that stuff, all of those hopes I have, all those dreams I have, are because of this show. It is one in this last year that I have rewatched. Conlon, you missed it, but like, it's the week you were gone. I always go back yearly and I watch the specials, and they always inspire me. They're always funny. If I had like ultimate goals in life, it would be to have one of those trips with my closest friends, and it's all because of this show. And like I said, I do rewatch it every single year. I don't always watch all the other episodes, though sometimes I do, because I do love this show. I do love their dynamic. I love the way they interact with each other. But like, there's nothing more just positive, clean, good entertainment. Like, everything has some kind of garbage in it somewhere. And this one just doesn't. They're just three mates talking about cars. And it's great. It's inspired a lot of conversations I've had with AJ, a lot of arguments, we've debated stuff, gone over stuff. Like, my first podcast idea was to have one where it's me, AJ, and Conlon, and I would introduce it with, like, we have the car know-it-all Jesus AJ, because he looks like Jesus. We have the reasonable one, and we have the car moron that is Conlon, because he's just not as into cars. And we would talk about previous Top Gear episodes, and like, they do the Africa special, and like, hey, what car do you think did the best, or what car would you choose if you were given that opportunity, right? I love having those conversations. I've had a number of them with many different people. So this is one where if I was being truly honest with myself last year, it would have at least come higher. This year it's my number one because of how inspirational I find it, and is ultimately what I wanted this podcast to be. Positive, good entertainment that helps change your life.
Very cool.
And that's this show to me. Okay, Lauren, what's your number one?
Well, it has already been on well, it's on everybody's list. On someone's honorable mentions, should be higher, but that's okay. Ted Lasso is my number one. This is one that I will watch over and over and over again. Like I think I've watched it 3 times this year.
Wow.
And it's like there's I love that scene, the thank you but F you. And then there's also Oklahoma. It's something that I've taken from this because you're like, oh yeah, it's great. Oklahoma, I hate it. I don't want to be here. And how they address things and this. So I have some mental illnesses, and I kind of came out to my sister, kind of using one of a Ted Lasso GIF. Probably wasn't the best way, but
No way, and that's the important thing.
yeah, and it was it made it easier to kind of talk about it by using the show as a buffer. And I mean, I I regret telling my family about it though to this day, but I'm still glad that I had Ted Lasso to at least give me the courage to kind of tell people. But I definitely didn't learn who to tell what to. And then also, I mean, I just love Roy. He's just a great character. Literally all of these characters, if you started out hating them, you loved them by the end. You learn so much. I think there's only one character that I hated to the very bitter end, and but you were meant to. And it was, why can't I think of her name? I want to say it's Caitlin, but I don't feel like that's Rebecca. There we go. Rebecca's husband.
Keely. Oh.
And I don't know why I thought her name was Caitlin for a second. But Rebecca, and I love that scene where she feels all this pressure to go in to all of these old men, and then she's like, they're all just little boys. Why am I so uptight about this? And I loved that scene, and her getting that confidence and stuff. And I love that actress as well. I saw her on a late night talk show, and this person's like, you're a lot of woman. And I was like, yeah, she is, and it was great. I love her. Yeah, I love this series. I love all seasons. I love the character development with the guy who's like, I lost my wings dry. I can't think of what his name is. Goodness. But yeah, I love the character development. I love how you can see Ted being trying to be this positive thing, even though his world is crumbling. And you can there's a season where he kind of breaks apart a little bit, and he'll get snippy with people, and so it shows you that he's not this perfect person, but he is trying. And I love that about this series, because at first when I saw him crack, I was like, oh, they ruined it. And then I was like, oh no, they made it so much better. Because he's still the same person, and he's just trying, and he's human. So yeah, that's why it's my top.
And
That's very
how
cool.
have we not talked about Ted Lasso forgiving Rebecca?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, we're talking about impactful scenes. What a great showing of grace and,
It's
and just
amazing.
forgiveness and love. Just while you're talking, like, we could go on and on. Ted Lasso having a panic attack. How Rebecca reacts to Ted Lasso having a panic attack. It's all so good. Yeah, this
Yeah.
probably should be higher on my list. Honestly, it's such a great, important show.
Yeah, and like it was impactful the first time I watched it, and the second, and the third, and the fourth. And so,
Yep.
and it's a movie. It's a series I think everybody should watch. So,
I agree with that.
and I can't say
I agree with
that
that.
about most of my stuff on my list. I'm like, you might like it, but this is one that I'm like, you need to watch it.
Fair. Totally fair. Okay, Conlon, to nobody's surprise, because you already told us, what is your number
Yep.
one? Drum roll.
Forgot.
It's How I Met Your Mother.
Oh
I will be. Maybe there's someday where something will beat this, but I just doubt it. There is so much about this show. I always liked nerdy fantasy stuff. I've always liked that stuff. And there's a certain group of people that get into that. But when I was growing up, everybody watched How I Met Your Mother. Everyone. My jock type friends watched How I Met Your Mother. My nerdy type friends watched How I Met Your Mother. Everyone watched How I Met Your Mother. The show became like an inside joke. I had a friend that I would do the the high five thing with. Whenever we would see each other, we'd walk down the hall and literally we got expert on it. We were really good. To me, it's a show about hope. And when I'm not feeling hopeful, there are parts of the show that just make me feel hope every single time. I love this show. But with its faults and all, I love this show. I love the characters. It constantly makes me laugh. There's not a lot of comedies that keep making me laugh, but I will just keep watching these same episodes. I've watched these episodes like 9 times. Doesn't matter. It makes me laugh every single time. I love Lily and Marshall's relationship. It is my favorite relationship in TV. Yeah, my favorite relationship in TV. It's just I love this show. It means a lot to me. It connects me to other people. I still talk about it with friends. And it's a show that brought everybody in my life together, except for my parents who hate the show. But everybody else loved it. And it means a lot to me. The show just means a lot to me. And always will.
yeah. Nice.
Any last thoughts, questions, outrages, concerns?
No, I don't think so. I think that I'm gonna watch Top Gear because of that. And I'm going to try watching the Over the Garden Wall thing again because of Lauren. And try to connect with you guys more, because that's really what it's all about, is connecting and growing and being a little bit better.
Just watch the specials episode. If that's what you're gonna do. I don't think
Okay.
you care about a 2004 Audi RS4 review, or
No.
can a Bugatti outrun a jet from London to the border, or
That sounds
whatever
cool.
they're
I would
doing.
do that. That
Okay,
was one
there's
that
some
you did.
challenges and
You
stuff, but-
you picked one that I was like, that sounds cool. I would watch that.
Okay. Oh, there is that sprinkled throughout. Start with the specials episodes if you want to keep watching more.
Okay.
There's 22 seasons of it, so
Sweet.
well,
They're all good.
26 seasons of it if you count the grand total. Okay, Lauren, any outrages? Any last comments?
Emotional outbursts.
Emotional outbursts. Tell Conlon why he's wrong for not having Ted Lasso one more time. Anything like that?
No, just I was like kind of surprised with where everything landed. Because there was some things I was like, oh, I thought that definitely would have made my top 10, but Yeah.
What was the biggest one of those? Like, I'm shocked this isn't on here.
Troll Hunter, I thought would definitely be on my top 10.
Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm not really surprised Over the Garden Wall got so high. I'm like, that is definitely seasonal bias right now.
Do you
I
think if
thought
this was
about
the spring that Troll Hunter would have made it on the list and that would have been off?
no, because I think Clarkson Farm would have made it. And then, like, but it was like how I decided to make my top 10 that I think all of these would switch if I had another little caveat of like, this is how I'm rating my top 10, but these were ones that I'm like, this is how it connected to my life specifically. But there's like some things on my honorable mentions that I would watch before I watch anything on my top 10, like Erased, I watch yearly. But there's no really good, like, for the reason that I made my top 10, I didn't have a reason for Erased. So that's why it didn't make it. Same with Full Metal, because like I have all of the manga of Full Metal Alchemist. So obviously I love it. But I actually thought, I'm like, I'm going to put Full Metal Alchemist on my books because I have all of them and I actually like the books better than the anime. So I'm a nerd. So I had little things I'm like, okay, I feel better not putting you on because I'm going to put you on a different list. But yeah.
Very, very cool. Lauren, I still think Psych should have come higher on your list. Conlon, Psych should at least be an honorable mention on your list. And Ted Lasso should be on it as well. And with those lovely, reasonable, logical, and correct statements, we will end. Thank you all for watching and or listening. I appreciate every single one of you. Like, subscribe. Please give us recommendations. Your recommendations have made it onto our all-time favorites lists. I love getting them. I love hearing from you guys. Please, please, please do it. And be better today than yesterday.